The U.S. Army is developing a 1,000-mile range supergun. The cannon, along with hypersonic weapons, will allow the service to attack long-range, strategic-level targets far beyond the reach of existing Army systems.
Fire! Fire! There we go.
According to Defense News, the Army's program manager for long-range fires, Colonel John Rafferty, the service expects the gun to have a range of 1,000 nautical miles, or 1,150 statute miles. The technology behind the cannon is described as cutting edge, that's so advanced that the service is not sure if the gun would be affordable. Today, the Army relies on the other services' planes and missiles for long-range strike, with air power available almost on demand for ground troops in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. But as the Pentagon turns from fighting guerrillas to deterring great powers, war planners are increasingly anxious that advanced Russian and Chinese anti-aircraft systems may make the skies a killing zone with nowhere to hide, forcing the U.S. to rely on ground weapons that can be hidden from the enemy in tunnels, forests, and other terrain. Exactly how the U.S. Army intends to field a cannon with a range of 1,150 miles is unknown. The Army's heaviest gun, the 155mm gun on the M109A6 Paladin self-propelled howitzer, has a range of just 25 miles. The largest gun ever built, Schwerer Gustav, had a range of 28 miles. Why is the Army confident it can build a strategic long-range cannon to shoot with precision more than 1,000 miles? Because the superweapon will be essentially supersizing proven technologies found in the existing 155mm howitzer and rocket-boosted artillery shells from the 1980s. I don't want to oversimplify, but it's a bigger one of those, Colonel John Rafferty told reporters here. We're scaling up things that we're already doing. The Strategic Long-Range Cannon, SLRC, would use a cannon barrel to launch artillery shells with built-in rocket boosters that ignite in midair. Since the cannon is reusable, this should be significantly cheaper than using one-shot rockets for every phase of flight. Lower price for shot, in turn, allows the Army to take out large numbers of lightly protected targets. Truck-borne missile launchers, radar antennas, and mobile command posts, for example. Ordinary artillery guns work by loading an artillery shell, followed by a powder charge into the gun's breech. When the gun is fired, burning powder charges create huge amounts of pressure behind the shell. As the pressure builds up, the shell is pushed out of the barrel and downrange toward the target. A report on the 1,000-mile gun suggests that it's probably a really big gun that fires a rocket-assisted projectile, RAP. At the time, Rafferty said the gun was based on proven principles and that we're scaling up things that we're already doing. A rocket-assisted projectile incorporates a rocket motor into the base of an artillery shell. The result is a shell with a smaller explosive charge but longer range. A larger diameter artillery shell could carry a large payload of solid rocket fuel, vastly increasing the projectile's range. Could the long-range gun be an adaptation of the Navy's railgun? It's unlikely. Railguns, as powerful as they are, likely can't fling something 1,150 miles. Railguns also need lots of energy, and it's easier to get that energy from burning bags of chemicals than from a megawatt-sized power source. Another clue is the Army's comment that the projectile themselves could cost up to $400,000 to $500,000 each. Railgun projectiles are simple and inexpensive, while rocket engines are significantly more expensive. As the services shift focus away from guerrilla warfare to great power competition, the Army is planning to use the long-range cannon against major potential adversaries. The long-range gun would give the Army an unprecedented ability to hit long-range targets without calling on other services, particularly the U.S. Air Force, to engage them. The Army aims to have a prototype ready by 2023, and will then decide if it wants to fully develop the gun for service. Thank you.
Get the ball clear. Ball. 1, 2, round through. Ball clear. Hey, ram. Hurry. Get it out there. Let's go. Ready, the rear end's clear. Go to the breeze. 11 is march alive. Stay ready. Ready, number 1. Hey! Go to it, let me verify! Hey, Demo. Verify. Ready, number 1. Ready, 1. Yes, we're shooting off the breeze. Huh? We'll shoot right after this? We have to very slow. Go through! Let me see it again. Come on, clear! Let me see it again. Wait. Ready, drop! Ready! Let's go! Push it out the tube. Ready, the rear end's clear!